Welcome to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Wes the Economist and Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist, coming to you live from the Wave Beach Realty Studios in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Call us today at 843-957-3872.
Mortgage payment, insurance payments, credit card payments, they can be very overwhelming. Are you ready to take the time to get things under control? Then reach out to me at Clark Financial Coaching to see if we can get you started with a budget and then a vision for the future. Write me at coachwesc@gmail.com. That's coachwesc@gmail.com.
This segment is sponsored by Bobby Clary State Farm. Call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right. Guys, welcome back into the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Wes the Economist, and I am Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist, reporting to you live with an actual podcast today, Season 2, Episode 45 of the full Dollars and Cents Podcast.
Yes, finally back live. We'll see where this goes. Hopefully you'll see this.
Yeah,
if we get 3 minutes in and we can't think of anything, then you'll never know about it.
You'll never know about it. Either way,
so
we're
if you're
fine.
actually hearing this, then we did well.
Yeah. So we've been talking about a bunch of
we have,
politics
and we never have
and tariffs.
The thing about the quick clips, though, we don't have a lot of time to really stop and smell the roses.
Right. No, we just rattle off.
There's so much going on. Like we said before we were prepping, it's hard to keep up with.
It's
really
a lot to keep up with in the news right now.
To go along with your conspiracy, we didn't get this on the last quick clip because we were going to talk about it in just a second. But for your conspiracy folder, I remember I mentioned a few clips ago that there was some conspiracy theory online, and it actually happened, but they backed it out. But this asset company in Texas who holds assets for former president, vice president, I won't mention names so we won't get in trouble, short sold through social stock the Friday before the assassination attempt. You probably heard about it, and it didn't make a big deal about it.
Of course, they never did.
But it was 12 billion shares. And this is a buttload of money. And they short sold it. They came back the following week with the SEC and said, oh, that was a mistake. It was supposed to be 1,200 shares, not 12 million. It was a clerical error. We need to back it out. And the SEC let them back it back out.
Wow.
Because they actually end up losing a ton of money because of that sale.
Right.
So I don't know how, maybe financial people can write in and tell us how that works. How can you back out something that you put in an order for on Friday?
I don't know.
And then why did you put it in on Friday?
Right. Yeah.
So, did you have some insider information, or was it really just a clerical error and it was just coincidence?
Well, I'm sure there was some insider information. I mean, I've talked about this. I am a strong believer that the Democrats had that assassination attempt planned.
Come to think of it, that was our first show, wasn't it? She blew me away because you went straight there.
Yeah. It just makes the most sense.
That was our first radio episode, and it turned into our first podcast.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. I want them to release all the files on that.
Yeah, we're waiting on that.
Trump said he was going to do that.
I'm still waiting on the files on the drones.
Yeah, waiting on those too. There was an update yesterday. Tulsi Gabbard came out and said that there's a lot of documents that weren't handed over on the JFK, MLK, and RFK assassinations that weren't handed over, that they're literally physically going to all the known buildings owned by the FBI and the CIA and getting all the documents they can find. They still haven't,
even after that 10,000 page dump or whatever they held back,
there's still more. There's still more that haven't been released. They're trying to get them, though. They're actively trying to get them.
But it's the government. The head of the department saying, give them to me. Why do you have to actively go get it? It's crazy.
Apparently, a lot of these documents were never planned to be released, so they just put them in boxes and stored them in random places. And so half of them, they don't even know it's just random storage facilities where they just have a bunch of crap. Yeah, wow. How crazy is that?
So the reason that came up in my feed was this lady that I was listening to was really pulling things together. And I don't believe her for a second. I actually did some research, though, and I cannot connect these two.
Yeah.
But if you remember, back before 9/11, people sold American Airlines short.
Yeah.
And the articles I found from back there, I kind of remember now as I read them, is that Al Qaeda, I forgot his name.
Bin Laden.
Bin Laden. Osama bin Laden. I'm getting old. I can't remember names. I kept wanting to say Obama. And actually, I
Oh,
did
don't
that.
do that.
I did that one time in a meeting with students, and I never heard the last of it. So I'm always scared when I get ready to say Osama. I don't want to say it wrong, especially now on a
Let's not do
podcast.
that. Let's not do that.
That he was selling short because he knew what was coming.
Yeah.
But this current conspiracy theory is that some of the same people who sold short on Truth Social stuff also were the same ones who sold short on American Airlines the week before the crashes. So, conspiracy theory. These days, I just can't dismiss everything right out of hand.
No,
10 years ago, I would have said, "Oh, you're crazy."
Yeah.
But you also know that CNN was carrying that rally live for the first time in years.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
they claim it's because they thought he was going to announce the vice president, but really,
Okay.
Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Come on now.
So many things surrounding that. So our next podcast, we're going to try to do these once a month, twice a month.
Yeah.
One of them's got to be conspiracy theories. There's so many.
Yeah, you're
things.
right. You're
We're gonna
right.
Get some.
Yeah, but conspiracy theorists are like batting 34-0 right now.
I know,
what's
really.
a conspiracy anymore?
Exactly.
Or a theory, rather.
Yeah, theories. Just. Have you had a chance to read any RFK documents?
You mean the JFK documents?
JFK. I'm sorry, JFK.
I have read some of them. I've got to start getting video of myself going through these and cap cut them and edit them so that people can see the document while I'm reading it, and then I can give my opinion. I also am going to break down. I actually watched a good documentary on it the other day, but the mafia's ties with the CIA and the Kennedy family. There's and this is like all fact. There's a big tie. Sam Giancana, who was a Chicago mob boss, he was played a big part in helping getting Kennedy elected. And then when he made RFK his attorney general, and he started cracking down on the mob. They weren't happy about that, and they wanted Kennedy dead.
Yeah.
But also, the CIA hired the mafia to assassinate Fidel Castro. I don't know if you know that.
I remember you mentioned it. That's the first time I'd ever heard of it.
So, yeah, they actually reached out to Sam Giancana and asked him, because so basically the mafia used to run Havana. They had a bunch of casinos in Cuba.
Oh, really?
And then when Castro took over, he made the casinos all ran by the state because obviously he he's running a communist country. He's like, well, the mafia, you guys are out of here. So they were losing millions and millions of dollars a day by them casinos being taken from them. So they wanted Castro dead. Our government wanted Castro dead because they were like, we don't need this communist psycho right off the coast of our country. They were terrified about him back then. And there are a lot of the CIA documents that have been released talk about that too in the Kennedy files. But so there's a lot of ties to the mafia killing Kennedy, the assassination of Castro, because they tried to assassinate him multiple times and failed. That guy you couldn't touch him. They tried to poison him. They tried to have one of his mistresses kill him, and she backed out last minute. And then there's a lot of they've tried to kill him. I don't know. He had the luckiest horseshoe I've ever seen. He should have been dead 20 times, but. Anyway, so I've got to get more into those files because most of the stuff that everybody used to say was conspiracy, that when I was growing up, I was like, I don't know, there's more to this. It's not just Lee Harvey Oswald.
Right.
I'm now pretty convinced that he was a patsy and that he was just, just a very small part of the plot, just an easy fall guy. But then you see like people like him are usually the fall guys, just like the guy that tried to kill Trump. It's like the same situation. And if we really dug into it and had like a Warren Commission and then tried to break that down, it'd be like something's not adding up here, and it's because the Democrats are corrupt and tried to kill him. But so I don't know, but there's a lot to delve into. But I wish some files would come out about anything they've looked into about the Butler PA.
We're waiting on a lot of files, and I know the Epstein files.
Oh.
She's reiterated that she wants the cases to stick.
Yeah,
and I get it, but there got to be something they can give us. At the same time, I don't want it released. What cases? And that's just it. She keeps saying that we're going to make sure that when we bring these charges, that they can't get out of them. So we can't release anything till then. But it's got to be something they can release, just to say, hey, this is going on.
I'm worried that they'll never see the light of day with those Epstein cases. To me,
that's more horrendous than any of them.
Yeah.
These were young kids, boys and girls, that were used by elites across Hollywood, Washington, wherever else.
Yep.
It's just despicable. It makes that's one thing that makes my blood just boil.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And and then the P. Diddy files, same thing.
Yeah,
same. It's the same.
I ain't heard anything about that in months.
He's got to go to trial at some point here because obviously he's got to stand trial for what he did.
You think he makes it?
I think.
Kill himself.
Yeah, Epstein did not kill himself, and I don't think they'll try. If they did the same thing to Diddy, it would be too obvious.
He might not hang him. He may get
if anything, he'd get shanked by like a prisoner. So it would look like not it won't be no failed suicide or a suicide attempt. It'll be, hey, we'll get you out of prison tomorrow, but you got to shank this dude. We'll get rid of your murder sentence, but you got to commit one more on your way out. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So Diddy didn't kill himself either. And I would never kill myself in case they are worried about.
I just saw a quote that said, "More government always equals more trouble," or something like that. And I'm sitting here thinking that there's so many people that put their hopes in the government.
It's scary.
And it's just, just look. Even if you don't believe all this stuff, just look at some of it.
Yeah,
there's an issue. There's definitely an issue.
Oh yeah.
So that's been going on. We've been talking about tariffs this week on the quick clip. So I'm not sure when we're going to post this actual podcast, but all the stuff with tariffs, from negotiation going on to us getting better deals already with 75 different countries, to making maybe some political changes in China or forcing them to step up. Again, I hope that doesn't turn into a tiger in the corner type thing.
Yeah.
But even the stuff with the Supreme Court, you see this stuff this past week with the Supreme Court slapping down the lower district courts.
Yeah.
They finally have said, okay, you can't. One of them was part of Washington. I think it was deportation. Was it deportation or firing? I don't remember. One of the cases, both of them got slapped down. He's allowed to fire the people now, and the deportations have been that's been lifted. Yeah. I think it was the act, because then the reason the Supreme Court said it was something about a court in Washington D.C. cannot act on something that's going on in another state.
Yeah.
But so then a guy in Texas, a liberal judge in Texas, did the same thing. So they're back in the courtroom again. Let's go push it back to Supreme Court again.
Right.
So it's just delay tactics. This lawfare has not stopped.
Yeah.
And that bothers me completely.
Yeah, I get it. It's crazy what they're shooting down. But I just made me think, when you were talking about the deportation stuff, it made me think, and we didn't even talk about this off air, and I got to be careful how I word this, but I was talking to a guy when I was showing property in North Carolina a few days ago, a guy that I know in North Carolina who was here on a work visa. Mm-hmm. He's been here for 20-something years from Mexico. Not going to say his name.
No, please don't.
Not going to. Great guy, works hard, deserves to be here more than anybody that I know. But he is worried, as he kind of is, about being taken out of North Carolina. He also said that he's like, I like what Trump's doing, because he's like, all the people that come here from Mexico that are bad and robbing people and murdering people and shooting cops, he's like, they're no good. He's like, they got to go. He's like, I'm a little worried, but he's like, I've been here so long and work and pay taxes and this and this. He's like, I think I'll be okay. Mm-hmm. But he's like, I
really don't think they're gonna mess with people who've been here for a while.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, maybe we get down to that. Yeah. Because I know somebody like that in the I won't say what part of North Carolina either, but I know somebody who's been here since they were 16.
Yeah.
And then he's in his 40s now.
Yeah.
Great at what he does.
Yeah.
And he has plenty of work, but I know, well, I can't say for sure he's not here legally, but he's pretty sure he's undocumented. But at the same time, he's got government ID and all, which I don't know if you saw that this past week too. Yeah. How many Social Security numbers were issued to undocumented aliens by the Biden administration?
Yeah, I didn't see the number, but I heard them talking about there were a ton of
in the millions, especially the last year. I think it was 2.3 million just the last year. That they've traced down.
Crazy. Yeah, so I mean, I hope when they are, I'm all for the deportations, but people that are here that did make it here for a better life, and they have kids here and they've been raising families and they're working hard and they haven't committed any crimes, I hope they just give those people some kind of grace, or like, hey, you need to go do this and this to get in.
Go through the process. I don't want to say amnesty, because I think it sets a bad precedence.
Yeah.
But if they've been here that long, maybe fine them, $100 fine. I don't know, do something.
Get some tax money back and
do something. But don't run them out.
Yeah,
we have enough people that shouldn't be here that are doing stuff illegal and all. That's going to take a while.
Yeah, that's going to take a long time. Yeah, it's not an easy process.
But the guy, I don't know if you remember the case that we're talking about. The guy was sent to El Salvador.
Yeah.
Did you hear the details behind it?
So the guy that was accidentally sent back, and they thought he was a gang member or something.
Accidentally,
yeah. So I heard the spins on it that I see on social media. But if you have the real story, I'd love.
Well,
to
the guy was M13. M13 is that?
They said MS-13. They
MS-13.
said he wasn't though.
Oh, he has ties, but the reason he had given asylum here was because his family and he were in the crosshairs of another gang in El Salvador.
Yeah, so it was like witness protection type thing?
Wasn't any witness protection, but asylum you have to say you're in danger so you can't go back.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime in El Salvador, I don't know if you know about El Salvador, but they had elected a new president a few years ago. And he's completely cleaned up the country.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, all the
I've
gangs.
heard him on an interview before. Solid guy.
He just, I don't know how he did it. It happened underneath the radar, too, because I didn't hear about it. You know, we heard about Argentina.
That's probably why he was able to do it.
Argentina president came in and completely changed Argentina last year before last. But this guy, he's completely, because El Salvador, I used to be scared to fly through there.
Yeah.
It was so dangerous going through El Salvador.
Right.
And now it's a tourist destination.
Yeah.
That quick.
Which is amazing.
It is. It's amazing.
Good for him.
So there's no danger to this guy back in El Salvador now. So his whole asylum request was predicated on that.
Yeah.
It's not that he could not have been sent back. It's just the right forms had not been filed.
Got it.
So if they had just filed the right forms, it wouldn't be an incident.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, but that's not what you hear on the spin.
No.
You hear all this, they picked up. The first thing I heard was they picked up an American citizen and sent him out of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lie. They did not pick up an American citizen and send him out of the country.
Right.
But it's fear-mongering, so people get upset.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, which is unfortunate. But
these district judges, and I've been mad about this for not just the past few months, but for decades, seeing a district judge somewhere in the country, you can pick your judge you want to go to stop something you don't like happening.
Yeah.
The judicial was never meant for that. I got in a discussion with a student. These students sometimes I'm like, you need some more age of wisdom. But I had one student stand me down in class that there was not a balance of powers in the United States through the Constitution, and his excuse was Article 2 was the biggest, so therefore Congress is the most powerful part of our government.
Okay.
Which I tried to explain to him, and he would listen. Okay, the Constitution limits government powers. It doesn't define the government powers. It limits their government powers, what it can do. So what that article to me is actually doing is making sure all these people who think they're probably better than everybody else will not have the power to do stuff.
Right.
So it's bigger to make sure they're limited more than the president.
Right.
And these students don't understand either that Congress used to meet, 3 months out of the year, 2 months out of the year when this all started?
Yeah.
They were never meant to be in Washington. The president was in Washington all year long. So if you want to talk about who was more powerful, probably was the president, but I don't think it was supposed to be. Still a balance of power.
Right.
But I'm afraid now that our students are being taught that there's not a 3 co-equal parts of government, that there's one supposed to be more powerful.
Got it. Yeah.
So stuff like that just worries me. I mean, I got grandkids. My kids are grown. They're doing really well for themselves, but I worry about my grandkids. What are they going to come into?
Well, I worry about, that's why one of the things I worry about having kids. There's a lot of things that I'm like, I don't know what's the right thing to teach them or do. There's a lot of, I'm really concerned about that. I think about that a lot. When life gets unpredictable, turn to a partner you can trust. At Bobby Clary State Farm, we've got you covered. Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, we're dedicated to providing personalized coverage that fits your needs. With our friendly and knowledgeable team, navigating your insurance options have never been easier. Visit BobbyClary.com or call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right. Are you looking to buy a home in North or South Carolina? You need to reach out to Wave Beach Realty today. We are a family-owned company with over 10 years of experience in North and South Carolina and operate along the Grand Strand. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. That's 843-957-3872. Thanks for listening to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X at DollarsCentsGS and on Facebook at Dollars and Cents.
This segment brought to you by Eisenhower Dental. Reach out to them at 843-234-3110. But the only way to change is to have more kids that we can bring up that way.
That's true. That is true. That's one way to look at it. That's one. That's a good.
And you would think, I shouldn't say this on air, but you would think that if our side continues to have children like we should, the The other side likes getting rid of them. I hate to say it that way, but so shouldn't that kind of take over? But that means we'd have to. I'm gonna get us canceled.
Wes is pro-life.
You think so? Yeah, really.
That's what he's trying to say
without using the A word to get us.
Yeah. Wes thinks you're a scumbag if you believe in abortion.
Okay, so he said it. No, I don't think you're a scumbag. I don't think you understand human life and the preciousness of human life.
Yeah,
I mean that's.
I know.
I know you are.
I'm giving you a flag.
No, I understand. But to me, and I've been preaching this for decades too. When we back with Kevorkian, you know who Kevorkian was?
Yeah, Dr. Death.
As we got into that, the sanctity of life, no matter what life it is, we've kind of lost.
Right.
That'd be a good podcast topic sometime, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the problem is those people who are performing abortions and their kids are being brought up by their parents. They also want to be in our schools, bringing our kids up the same way they're bringing their kids up.
Right.
And that it's just not right.
Right.
I mean, we've got a lot of things going on now where we're trying to give parents their rights back, which I don't understand how they lost them in the first place.
Yeah.
But a parent should be able to raise their kid the way they think they should raise them.
I also think there need to be some more private schools opened up, just more that just it does formal schooling, but also teaches a lot of other things to help kids get through life that school doesn't teach.
Yeah.
So I think that's and I feel like so parents could have more say in like what classes they're taking and what more important things other than just like basic English, math, history, and whatever the government book wants you to learn. I'm all for more private education.
Yeah, especially
Affordable.
school choice and stuff like that. But what you just said, math, history, English, all that
doesn't get you through life.
Well, they don't teach it anymore either.
Well, that's true.
By the time you get to where I'm at teaching, I mean, it's amazing to me how much they don't know.
Right.
Because they're teaching them social justice and be active in this cause and active.
Right.
No, teach them how to think and teach them basic stuff, and then basic stuff like how to do a tax return.
Right.
How to balance a checkbook.
Right. Yeah.
Which is not economics, but still needs to be done.
Right. Yeah.
Teach them economics though. One half of a year of economics is not enough. Half the year of American government is not enough.
Right.
They need to know more, especially when your history courses haven't covered hardly anything.
Yeah.
I mean, history's gotten longer since I was in school. I mean, that's kind of the point of time.
Yeah.
But yet we still have just 1 year of American history and 1 year of world history. We've got to back it up. We've got to do something different.
Something, yeah. It's the education system's a joke. It's I'm sure it's worse. I mean, I graduated high school in 2010, and I'm sure it's. I know. I'm sorry. I know. He graduated in 1998, so he's not too far behind.
1985, actually.
85, huh?
85, class of 85.
The
We were alive in 85.
I bet life was good in the 80s, though. I bet high school in the 80s was cool, man.
85 was great. 80s were great.
Growing up like in my elementary years in the 90s actually wasn't bad. I think it started going downhill probably after the market crash of 2008. I think everything just kind of got a little different.
Oh, it
after
did.
That
definitely, and I teach my kids that all the time in school. Economic events lead to social and political change.
Yeah,
and it did. And Obama came into office saying he wanted to fundamentally change the country. He actually accomplished it.
Yeah,
I remember Rush Limbaugh getting so much headache when they asked him, "Don't you want Obama to be successful?" And Rush Limbaugh said, "No, I don't." Oh man, they drug him through the coals for that one, but he said no because this is what he believes in, and I don't believe in it. So no, I don't want to be successful.
Yeah,
you don't want the first black president to be successful? He said no. He was good at cutting through the BS and being like, okay, I understand. It's great we have our first black president,
right? But
what he stands for, I think, will destroy the country, and I think it has.
Yeah. It's gone downhill for sure, and now everything's so polarized, and the world has become and
they blame Trump for that.
Yeah,
but see, I think it was Obama.
It started it. I'm not going to sit here. I'll play devil's advocate and say Trump's can be pretty divisive. I don't think he makes it better.
Arguing that.
I don't think even when he's making the economy better and doing things that are right, the way he speaks sometimes I think make people hate him so much and get the wrong impression of him that it actually makes social issues a lot worse.
But I would argue that if Obama had not been our president, Trump would never got elected. That makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense. I've never really even thought about that.
I don't think Trump would have had the forum and all. Of course, you've heard the thoughts on that, why Trump ran. And there was a correspondence dinner that he attended at the White House
where they made fun of him.
Obama made fun of him.
Yeah.
And said, "Oh, he made like, we would never be president, blah, 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 all this stuff. And a lot of people believe that's when he decided,
Well, Trump's
hold my beer, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, Trump's one of those guys that
he does have an
you
ego.
don't tell. Yeah, with somebody with that ego, you don't tell somebody they can't do anything. I mean, he's accomplished a lot in his life, whether you love him or hate him.
Right.
And if you tell somebody like that they can't do it, he's like, well, I'm just going to do it just to. I don't even really care to do this. I don't need it. I've got plenty of money. That I could literally not do another thing the rest of my life and do whatever I want.
Exactly.
But I will run for president and win just to show you I can. And then now, actually, I think after he saw the political crap and the bog down and what he wasn't able to accomplish the first 4 years, I think that's kind of what energized him to be like, all right, I have an ego and I want to do this to say I did it. But at the same time, I think because of what he actually does have he doesn't say it, but I have a sense that he does have a deep care for the country because of what he's been able to accomplish here.
I've heard him say it, not on the news clips and all. I've heard him say it in more smaller interviews type things. He really does. And again, kind of like me, grandchildren. Yeah. He wants his grandchildren to have what he had. Yeah. And we're heading towards a point that they can't have it. Right. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So, but... So yeah, I honestly believe Trump would never got elected in 2016 if we had not gone through what we did from 2008 to 2016.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, because the fact that he beat Hillary, he didn't have a chance. No. He didn't have a chance in hell to beat Hillary.
But we were so polarized at that point.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think we need a Trump. I hate it because we always ask me, how can you like him? I don't like him. I don't like the way he talks to people. I've never liked his attitude.
Yeah, he's just.
I will give praise where praise is due, and his policies and how he's turned things around. Not only now, but even his first administration. I cannot believe the stuff he did in the first administration. Right. So, just because I don't like somebody, of course, I don't like any politician. And once he stepped in the political ring, I don't like politics. Yeah. But I couldn't watch The Apprentice. I didn't like The Apprentice.
Oh, I didn't like that. No, I don't. Yeah, no, I didn't watch that either. But in other news. This will never make it on YouTube far at all. I will never be able to run an ad on this one and get any views because I'm about to bring up something extremely controversial. So I saw on X yesterday, RFK did an interview, and they're doing extensive research right now to determine why autism rates are so high.
I saw a bit of that,
and they're going to try to link it to vaccines. And I've read some of the studies that would indicate that, like, the amount of aluminum and mercury that goes into our body from a lot of these vaccines are conducive for autism. Because it used to be like 1 in 100,000 kids had autism. It's 1 in 31. Okay.
But with that thought, when I was vaccinated, when I was little, what was it, 4, 5?
Yeah, you had probably polio, right?
Yeah, polio.
Which that one was that Dr. Suzanne Humphreys that was on Joe Rogan's show.
Yeah. Oh, I heard she.
So literally polio was to actually getting eradicated itself as people became more sanitary and understood how that worked. The vaccine actually brought polio back and made it worse, and what actually crippled kids and stuff like that was actually the vaccine, and that's proven. That's proven, but it's swept under the rug.
All of it swept under the rug. Man! But when I was young, we got a few vaccines.
Yeah, just a few.
Yep. My kids probably in the early '90s, mid '90s. Yeah. Probably same as you. Yeah. You probably got what, 12?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, probably a dozen.
How many are there now? Like 2 or 3 dozen?
It's something crazy.
It's crazy. I've got a friend with a newborn, and he's getting a vaccine like every other month. I'm like, for what? What are they getting? So everybody just has this blanket thing of vaccines, but they're not vaccines. What the hell are they? So I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
and you can demonetize us, YouTube.
Yeah, it's scary that they mandate them and that you can't get into certain schools without them.
Oh no,
and there's just not enough research to really show the long term effects of what they do. And I will die on the hill that I think autism is a big part of it. And they're destroying kids' lives because once you have that, your
and I
life
think you couple that too with because. I don't know enough about it. I'll defer to your wisdom. But I also think a piece of it is of the actual diagnosis of autism has become a lot bigger range than it used to be. It used to be kind of specific.
Yep.
And now
there's a spectrum.
There's a spectrum.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true too.
I don't think that accounts for nowhere near the explosion, but I do think that's part of it, just like we did with ADHD and ADHD. Yeah. And I get in trouble again, but I remember reading 10 years ago, the guy was getting ready to die who came up with ADHD. ADD or ADHD.
Yeah.
And he literally admitted that he made it up.
Yeah. Well, so comedian that I really like, Ron White, funny guy.
Right.
I love him. He was on Rogan's podcast yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And so he was telling Rogan that he had ADD, and Joe Rogan said, "I don't think ADD is real." And he's like, "I'll tell you, I have ADD because I was trying to put a ceiling fan together in my house one day, and like I couldn't figure it out, wouldn't read the directions, I couldn't stay focused on it, and I took an Adderall, and then I focused." And he's like, "Ron, the only reason you didn't put that ceiling fan together is because you don't enjoy putting ceiling fans together. You don't like doing it. It's too boring for you, so you just didn't want to focus on it." He's like, "You're a stand-up comic, one of the hardest things in the world to do, and that's your passion. That's what you really love doing. You focus on it every day. When you're sitting in your room writing jokes, ADD doesn't bother you because this is what you enjoy doing." It's so. But Rogan was basically saying ADD is made up for it as an excuse when this stuff people don't like doing. Like, and he used the example of like when you're in a classroom and you're like learning about history and you have a boring teacher. It's like no wonder kids are diagnosed with ADD. Half the teachers are so boring that it's like you can't stay focused. Like nobody could stay focused. That doesn't mean you have ADD. It just means you're so bored you can't stay focused on it.
Bueller.
So I would
Bueller.
Yeah, right.
Bueller. Yeah. Anyone?
So he made a really good point. I had never thought about ADD that way, and I was like, dang, Joe Rogan really comes through with some wisdom sometimes. He made really good points about it. And then by the end, Ron White was like, well, hell, maybe I don't have ADD. I was like, man, that's some really good points. So what's crazy is the ADD is treated with methamphetamines. It's like, all right, well, you can't focus. Here, take some meth. We'll call it Adderall and put it in a pill so you don't have to smoke it. but take some meth and you'll be just fine. It's like that's what we're treating our kids with.
When my son was in the second grade, I may have told you the story before. First or second grade, there was like 10 boys in his class and like 15 girls.
Yeah,
very small class. Out of the 10 boys, 9 of them were on Adderall or some type of ADD. And my son, who was all boy, they came to us and like, we really think you need it. I said, hell no. I said, what's he doing? Well, he won't sit still. He won't focus. I said,
neither will my puppy.
He's a boy.
Yeah.
A second grade boy, 7-year-old boy. That's what boys do.
Yeah, they're hyper and they want to play all the time.
And that's when we talked about it in the 90s. That's what we talked about. That these teachers want these kids to sit there and be quiet, so they drug them.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's crazy. Yeah, when I was in second grade or when I was a kid, we had like an extended recess, so we'd go out during the middle of the day and we're just playing, which was great because I'd get to get all that energy out, play with my friends, play a little basketball, play cops and robbers, hit the swing set, and then I went back in and I could actually pay attention a little bit more in class because I'd got some exercise. I felt good. All my energy was out. I'm not sitting there, twitching. And even today. Like, if I have a busy day, my days are so much better. If I, wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is work out and get all this out of my system, like all my built-up energy, my day is so... Like, today, the reason I'm, so locked in today is because I worked out at 8:45 this morning. The days that I don't work out, you'll literally notice me not be as effective on the podcast on the days that I do work out. But it's the same thing with kids. You get them out there, you let them expel their energy... play. Their brains are forming. They're playing with their friends. They're getting stimulated. Then take them in the classroom. They should start recess first thing in the morning when they get them woken up. Let them run around, play. Take them inside. I guarantee you they'd all learn better all day.
Yeah, I agree. I believe. But they don't have recess, and if they do have recess, you can't do anything. No dodgeball.
Right.
Don't touch this. Don't touch that.
Oh yeah, now it's so soft.
No monkey bars.
Yeah.
It's
so soft.
We cause the problem, and then we say, "Oh, we have a problem. Let's fix it with something."
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Right, and then we feed them garbage lunch. Frozen pizza.
Michelle Obama.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Don't get me started.
Did you see where she was so surprised that when she found out that her lunch plan was so disliked?
Yeah.
These elites just blow my mind.
But
she started a podcast. Been out for a month.
Really?
She's like 34 or something, getting no traction whatsoever. Nobody wants to listen.
What does she have to talk about?
I don't know. I just saw the news kind of blurb.
Yeah.
I guess they thought she'd take over Joe Rogan. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
And nobody's taking over that man because he's so unbiased and has so many people on his show that talk about everything under the sun and experts in their fields. Nobody will ever overtake his show until he dies. And I hope he lives till he's 112 so he can just keep exposing things and keep giving people a platform that don't have a platform, like the anti-vaccine lady who is a doctor who was a nephrologist. I think it's nephrology. Yeah, nephrologist. And she got basically lost everything because she was going against the vaccines.
A lot of doctors did. How dare you speak up and be a doctor?
That's scary.
It is.
That's scary.
But when the pharmacist had the power to not fill your prescriptions for the doctors during COVID, that's just craziness.
It's wild.
A pharmacist is going to tell me what I should not take after I've been to see my doctor?
Right.
That's not...
Right. It's
idiotic.
It's amazing. Yeah, and it's amazing. And I know we were talking. I was talking about doctors and veterinarians in my last quick clips, but they're taught to how to treat something, get you better, get you home, but they don't fix the problem. They just kind of band-aid it. And they're not given any nutrition. They take a couple nutrition classes, so they don't really know much about. Because even the breeder that I got my dog from was like, listen, the veterinarian will tell you that the raw diet, your dog will get salmonella. It's eating raw meat, blah blah blah. But she's like, the acidity in dog's stomach is made to kill a lot of the stuff that our bodies can't take. Right. We can't eat raw meat.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, I promise you can feed this dog raw feed. If you can afford it, you can feed this dog raw food until the day he dies. He will never have an issue from raw food. And I'm meeting with for the first time with the veterinarian on this Monday. So if she says anything, I'm like, well, my breeder said you're a lying sack of shit. So so you can feed your dog raw food. It will not kill them. My dog is 9 weeks old, and he's eating and using the bathroom, and he's doing just fine, and he's not sick, and he doesn't have salmonella, and won't get salmonella. And a raw diet is what they would eat in the wild. It is totally fine.
How dare you not respect your vet? Come on.
Well, she might not even say that. I don't know her yet. She might be great. She's my mom recommended me because my mom's got a bunch of dogs, and she uses Kind Care in Little River right off of Highway 9 there. Yeah. I've heard great things about them, so I'm not bashing her, by the way.
Is that mine, actually? Oh, 9?
Right there by where the old Food Line was, where Planet Fitness is now.
That's my cat's vet. They're really good.
Okay.
I like
them. So I'm not
saying... I don't feed my cats raw meat, but okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know if cats will eat raw diets. I don't know if that works for them.
They love raw fish.
Okay, then they probably are.
But I don't know about raw meat. I don't know. Chicken
this is just a mix of like different meats and chicken liver, like all kinds. It's all together, but it's all like stuff with like different probiotics and stuff.
Like potted meat we used to eat.
It's not like that. It's a little more. It's a little more.
All the leftover stuff.
Yeah, if we're okay eating potted meat, my dog's okay on a raw diet. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that for
certain. So you do know what potted meat is?
Oh. Yeah, the spam and all that mess.
Liver pudding.
Liver pudding. Oh my God, I grew up on liver pudding sandwiches. Are you kidding me? I'm from my family's from North Carolina, sir. Yeah, liver pudding and souse meat and spam and what else did I eat? Oh man, it was all kind. Pig feet, all kinds of horrible things I shouldn't have been eating.
Have you chitlins?
Not a fan. Chicken livers wrapped in bacon on the grill. I ate those. Yeah, okay. Tore up some chicken livers.
Gizzards? Not
a big gizzard fan. Tried them. Not a big fan. Not a big fan, but we're
collard greens.
Oh yeah, with some vinegar on them, yes sir, yes sir. Collard greens. I'll eat them to this day.
On New Year's Day.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Thanksgiving, my grandma knows to make me a big thing of collard greens because I love them. I'll tear them up, put some vinegar on them bad boys. Yeah, I love them. Love them.
You're a Southern boy. Look at that.
I am a Southern boy. Yeah, I just my accent isn't as thick as some other people's down here, but I'm still from the South.
Oh me, that was a lot.
That was a lot.
I don't know what else we got to talk about.
I don't know because we're already going to get shut down after all.
Yeah, well,
between my first quick clip that we recorded and between this podcast, we've hit on every subject that would get you banned from YouTube.
Well, Rumble too. So if you lose us on,
maybe we should really hit Rumble hard so we don't get.
Need to figure out. They wouldn't give us money. We made 1 cent.
Did we?
That's what you want to get. You didn't see it? We made 1 cent.
I didn't see my half a penny. Yeah.
You didn't see. Let me get us something to cut this penny in half.
I thought they were getting rid of pennies. I heard they were going to get rid of pennies because it cost 3
more
cents to make them.
Yeah, it costs more to make them than actually.
What kind of sense does that make? Did you see the pun there? Did you catch the pun? What kind of sense does that make? Apparently 3.
Inflation, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, me. Geez. So we I think there's something else we're going to talk about on this podcast, but I can't think of what it was. We did conspiracies. We've done it. Oh man, we did. Yeah,
I've went ahead and went full anti-vax on this podcast. I'm trying to think what else.
There's a Bigfoot thing coming to town, but besides that,
Bigfoot.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a Bigfoot
convention.
Some kind of convention here.
It's like wow.
I was at the radio show I was on. Was the guy on the talk radio show here in the afternoon, Jack and James or whatever.
Okay.
And I guess he's real big into Bigfoot, so he's doing one somewhere.
That's a conspiracy I'm not buying into.
And so he's doing one in Conway. I can't figure out if he buys into it or if he just likes
making the money off of it. Probably that one.
I do know he's had somebody on his show that literally does. I mean, he's written books about it.
Yeah, the thing with Bigfoot is like, if he was real, this man is a world traveler because he's been spotted in everywhere. This man has got some miles on him.
I think it's more like there's a breed of humanoid out there that's been hidden this long.
Yeah, there's a better chance of aliens than there is Bigfoot.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
The fact, like, you're not going to convince me that we are the lucky ones. There's Earth and all this whole galaxy out there just because we can't travel to it.
Oh, you're talking about aliens. Okay, I thought you were talking about Bigfoot. Okay.
Oh, Bigfoot's not there. He's not there. Him and the Loch Ness Monster are aligned sacks of crap. They're not. Neither one of them are there.
Oh, no, come on.
Nessie's not real.
There.
Nessie's not real.
Nessie is there.
No, there's not.
Come on.
No. Oh.
And there's one up in New York, same way as Nessie.
I don't want to hear it.
What's that lake called? Lake Champlain? No.
I don't know.
Where's
Lake Placid? I don't know.
Somewhere up in there.
I don't know. There's no
X-Files on one out in the Midwest, too. I think they made that one up.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
The rest of them are real.
They're probably in Area 51 with everything else, honestly, being studied.
Quagmire. X-Files episode called Quagmire.
Got it. Okay. Quagmire.
Make sure you look it up.
Quagmire.
Because I think her dog got ate by it or something. Anyway.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Lord. Now we're going down the real conspiracy train here.
X-Files was good for conspiracy.
Yeah, no, I need to go back and watch X-Files. I would thoroughly enjoy that show. But yeah, the aliens I think are
I'm not somebody said, how can you be a Christian and believe in aliens? I said, well, I don't believe in aliens. I said, but you asked me, did I think they're out there?
Yeah.
I don't know. God didn't tell me.
Yeah.
So if he didn't tell me, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah, and you know he also lets history play itself out. So if he put another Bible on another planet just because we haven't found that planet and he didn't put it on our planet, like for us to and just figure like maybe they'll eventually find each other. Who's to say that he didn't do that?
Not me.
Right? I don't know. I'm not saying they are real, but I'm not going to just assume they're not.
I've had pastors, preach at me that I was evil and all because I won't denounce that aliens may exist. But
somebody actually said that to you?
Oh, you should hear the stuff I've heard. What did he do a podcast on that one time? I mean, the stuff I've heard from pastors
say. We will do. Can we do one just on pastors? Because my worst clients in real estate are all pastors.
Oh,
I just had one where a deal. I'm not even going to get into it. I hate. I don't hate all pastors. I hate all pastors that are my clients.
I used to be a pastor sitting in front of you now.
No, you've been great. No, I've had two. So I had you and a minister that I sold a house
I wasn't
to
a pastor.
recently.
When you sold to me, I wasn't a pastor anymore. So.
No, and the one that I sold that actually went through that was really nice. It was also a retired minister.
I wonder what it says about us.
I don't. I guess you guys are better people once you retire. I don't know. I didn't know you when you were an active, so maybe you were great then too. I don't know.
Or we were just run out of the business because we couldn't conform with the rest of them.
Maybe, yeah. You didn't go mainstream like the rest and rob people.
I had a pastor one time tell me that you can't cancel me. Might as well tell
we're already here, brother.
And he was an old timey pastor, and I was in a meeting in a church one time. I was deacon. He got so mad, and because he was very racist.
Okay.
And he said there was a reason because he basically said black people were inferior. What are you talking? You're a pastor. What are you talking about?
Right, that's wild.
I can show you. I'll take you. He took me, stormed out of a little meeting area, went into his office, made me promoted with him, opens up the Bible and shows me the third son of Noah, who was cursed and said would be a slave to his brothers. And I'm looking, yes.
Well, there's no race mentioned.
Exactly. He's like, see, that's where the black man came on Africa.
That's wild. That is a wild way to interpret. How does he interpret the rest of the Bible?
I know. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is when I was really young. I mean, this guy was older, and I was in my 20s. That's when I really started thinking, wait a second, these pastors don't actually have it all together.
Yeah, that's wild. What was his name? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, he's long. He's long past
gone now. Yeah,
long past. But
you think he's in heaven? 50-50.
That's a whole nother topic too.
Okay.
You know what Billy Graham said? Billy Graham said
I know who Billy Graham is, but I don't. Well, said about what?
Billy Graham, this was way back in the 90s. He said that, was it 50 or 70? 50 or 70% of people on church rolls would not make it to heaven.
I believe that.
And the Baptists came along. Yeah, I think it was 75%. 75%, because that same year the Baptist Convention came along, Southern Baptist Convention, and the head of one of the departments that came out and said, yeah, I agree with him. So, but I think it's more like 80.
Whew. Yeah.
So,
it's wild.
I mean, I've heard stories of pastors getting saved. literally gone to seminary, everything else. That guy I was telling you about that I talked with at the school that was it's a sociologist. He was a minister,
Really?
and now is a big atheist. It's crazy to me that people can go through and study the Bible and do all this stuff and never come face to face with Christ.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I have people, especially Southern Baptists, that come to me and say, well, Catholics can't be Christians. I've met plenty of Catholic Christians.
Yeah.
I said it's harder to find it
Right.
in all that mess that the Catholic Church has, but then the Southern Baptists have turned into the same thing.
Yeah.
And the Southern Baptists the last 5 or 6 years, they've got their butts beat because of stuff they'd be let go.
Yeah.
And I mean, somebody said, well, aren't you upset about it? It's like, no, if that's what they're about, then the whole Southern Baptist Convention should be shut down.
Yeah.
That's not what God's about.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. That the stuff with the pastor, like, it's just, some of them are just like really good salesmen. That's the scary part. They're like used car salesmen.
The pulpit draws people who are narcissists, who want to be in control of something, and are usually very charismatic.
Yeah,
that's why
how cults start.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. I mean, that's one of the reasons I don't think I was ever a good pastor, because I did not have the personality for it. People said I had the heart for it, but I didn't have to. I mean,
I don't think you have to have a personality for it. I don't think that's why you're called, though, right?
No, I don't think so. But if you look around, most of them have a certain personality. That's
Oh,
probably
I know.
what
I've
you've
met
seen.
them. Oh, they're the worst.
And I've been one time sitting in camp, and this one senior pastor was sitting in a youth camp, and we were talking about how the guy that was put on the camp's good guy. He's actually from Rock Hill, and he was talking about how we need to be humble and be real with these teenagers, especially about even now they go through more. They go through so much stuff. We need to be real with them and lift them up. And this one pastor says, no, we need to put ourselves up on a pedestal. They need to look up to us and aspire to be like us. And I thought I was kind of happy with the group. I thought they were going to eat that guy up.
Oh, Lord.
It's like, you don't need to be here. You need to go home. You need to go. But they have that mentality.
Yeah. They almost get a God complex.
Did you see that video
ironic.
last week? Yeah, exactly. Did you see that video last week before last, the pastor telling the ushers to close the door and wasn't going to let anybody go home until they reached their goal of money giving?
I heard about that, but I didn't think it was real.
No, it was real. It was real.
Did you see the video of them passing like a credit card machine around at a church?
I can see that,
credit card payments?
I can see that too. I mean, that's mismanipulation. I used to get in so much trouble with our small church because I wouldn't talk about money during Sunday morning times.
Yeah.
To me, tithing is a spiritual thing between you and God.
Right.
So if the church is doing what it's supposed to, okay, here's the two things. If the church is doing what they're supposed to do, God's going to take care of them. I don't need God to. I mean, I don't need people to do God's job.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because this used to make me so mad. Especially when I was in Baptist churches. They stand up on the pulpit and they preach. We can't make budget this month, so you need to pray and get your act right and make sure you give enough to us to blah 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 blah. And I'm thinking, last Sunday you said that everything belongs to God. All the cattle on the hill, everything else is God's. So why does God need our money to do what He wants to do?
Right.
And I came over the years of being a Christian and the years of being actually being a pastor. I came to realize if the church is having financial troubles, then obviously the church is not in God's will. If the church is in God's will, God will make a way to make sure that church is funded.
Yeah.
To me, that's separate than people giving to the church.
Right.
If the people, that's a spiritual act they do between them and God, and it may be 10%, it may be 5%, it may be 100%, whatever they feel like they're supposed to give. If you are ministering to students, I say students because that's what was my passion, but you ministering to people, and you're leading them to a relationship with Christ, then that'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But we stand up and get all it. Pastors are just, especially when you got these pastors who are flying around in jets. Don't mention the guy's name, but the one who got in so much trouble down here.
Oh, yeah.
He had a private jet.
Yeah.
And finally they closed that church down, and he's gone.
Yeah. It's crazy some
of
of
the
stuff.
How do you fight that from a Christian point of view? And I've told many Christians this. I said, please stop calling yourself Christian. And they get mad at me. He's like, why? Or she'll say, why? I said, because Christians like you make it very hard for people like me to actually reach people for Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, because, people see that, and then they see this stuff in the news, and they're like, see, that religion's a joke. It's not real. They're all scamming people and being scumbags and all the stuff you hear.
But you also have to understand pastors, especially the good pastors, they're human too.
Oh, of course. Everybody's going to make
mistakes. And they're going to fall.
Yeah.
You know, and people say, well, that pastor had an affair, or this pastor did this, or this pastor did that. Now, the ones who mess with kids, you can take the head off. I have no mercy for them.
Yeah, no, that's...
But the ones who fall into temptation, they do stuff. I get it. They're human. They're not any... And that's the point. They're not any different than anybody else. They've just decided to try to live for God and help God in His ministry.
Yep.
So when one falls, I don't get upset at them as far as how dare you. I just and I feel bad for them. And when you do put yourself up in the pulpit or whatever, you do bring a lot more pressure on yourself.
Oh, I'm sure, because now you're under a microscope.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like anybody who puts themselves in a position of power or a spotlight. Now you've got a microscope on you. So any mistake you make is now heavily scrutinized and put in a bigger perspective. But I know everybody makes mistakes. It just seemed like the type of people sometimes that become pastors, they're just, it's not mistakes. It's just like they're just scumbags across the board. Not all of them. I'm not talking about everybody.
I know who you're talking about. I've been around them.
But I'm telling you, as clients, I've seen how they act as clients.
Yeah.
And it's just like some of them, like, for example, have been like I owed them something, or because of, I called him out on something. He was lying. He was actually representing a builder. He was an on-site real estate agent. I don't even think he's doing real estate anymore, and I don't care if he is, because he's bad at it. But I sent a contract to him, and he asked me why I had this contingency in there. And I said, well, I just wanted to protect my client so he didn't, get screwed over by the builder. And he was like, screwed over? I am a ordained minister. I would never screw. I'm like, if you took offense to it, I'm already worried that you're going to screw my client over. And I was like, secondly, to throw that out there is the reason I should trust you, because you're an ordained. Like, that just washes away anything. You would never do anything sketchy or do anything on behalf of the builder, even though that's who you're representing.
Yeah.
And like, I'm the problem. Like, that's already a red flag for me. No wonder you're doing real estate, not pastoring. Red flag on the play. Anyway, that's just one of the examples. I got like 23, but I'm not going to.
We'll say that for the weekend. We need to do another podcast like that. We hadn't done a biblical one lately, or a Christian one, or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how that one. I don't know how biblical that one's going to sound, but
well, I mean,
I'm not trying to bash.
No. There's some good pastors, but
there are some.
It only takes a few to make things bad.
Or to at least make it look bad. Yeah.
There was a guy who came and planted a church near Columbia. He's actually I had a little church that was ministering to teenagers. We had some adults, but he tried to take advantage of us. I mean, that's how bad he was, because his church was the church going to save the area. I started doing some research, and he'd already been run out of Savannah, somewhere in Florida, and somewhere in North Carolina. So this lady who worked for Chick-fil-A, who'd been real good to our students and our ministry and all, I was real close to her, and she came to me all excited one day and said, I found a new church. And I said, oh, great, who is it? And she said name, she could tell my face just went, oh, crap.
Yeah.
She's like, what's wrong? I said, no, nothing. You just be careful. She says, what do you mean? I said, I've had some dealings. She said, I'm not going to say anything. If God's leading you there, go there, but just be careful.
Yeah.
So she went there. She was doing really well and all, but then about a year in, she said something he didn't like, and he tried to ruin her life.
Yeah.
Because she speak against the church.
Right. And
I remember her come back to me. She says, you remember when you told me to be careful? And I was like, yeah. She says, I should have listened to you and not gone.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't tell you not to go. She says, I know, but I trust you. And when you said that, I should have heeded.
Yeah.
Because now I'm in this big gossip match and da-da-da-da. And so people like that is what has given churches a bad name.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many Christians out there who don't go to church simply because they don't want to deal with that. I mean, I've been looking for a church here for 5 years. I haven't found anything yet.
Really?
And some of that's because I was on the other side of the pulpit. And so when I go in, I see stuff, and it may not even be fair to the church, but when I see it, it says off that it's that flag.
Yeah. Yep. I get it. I totally get it. So
wow, we went out over.
Yeah, we went in today.
We went everywhere.
We touched on everything today.
So, how
long have we been going?
52 minutes.
52
and we were worried about getting 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling we keep going, but I think it was time to cut off.
Yeah, I think I could probably keep going, but I don't want to completely exhaust my mental capacity today. We've done quite a bit. So.
We have. But thanks for checking us out for this long.
Yeah,
if you're still with us.
If you're still with us, thank you. I hope you enjoyed our conversations, and don't list me as an anti-vaxxer or a hating religion guy. I read articles, I read facts, I read medical studies, and that's where I get my opinions from. They're just opinions. If you want to vax your kids.
Yeah.
Just don't vax mine.
Yeah, exactly. Don't force me to do something.
Don't force me to do it. Yep.
Right across the board.
Yep.
All right, we'll see y'all next time.
We'll see you guys next time.
Eisenhower Dental, located at 107 Waccamaw Medical Park Drive in Conway, a place where you can find all your dental services, including general dentistry, cosmetic, restorative, and pediatric dentistry. Reach out to them today at their website, eisenhowerdental.com, or call them at 843-234-3110, 843-234-3110, and tell them Wes the Economist sent you. Want to know more about economics? Then look for my podcast, Econ Sense, in Apple and Spotify, or reach out to me at wes.the.economist@gmail.com. It's wes.the.economist@gmail.com.
You looking to buy a property in North or South Carolina and need financing assistance? Give Motto Mortgage Coastal Pros a call today. We specialize in residential loans in both North and South Carolina and can meet all your residential home loan needs. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. That's 843-957-3872. Thanks for listening to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to send us your topics and give us feedback at dollarscentsgs@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram and X at dollarscentsgs. You can follow us on Facebook at Dollars and Cents. Listen to us on the podcast format at Dollars and Cents Podcast. And you can also find us on YouTube at the Dollars and Cents Podcast.